I'm your host, Gabrielle Harris, and you're watching The Break. Last week, the Nigerian Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Rabi Abubakar, announced that the Ministry of Defense has opened a rehabilitation center for former Boko Haram members. The Brigadier General gave very few details about the rehabilitation center. However, he stated that members of Boko Haram who had surrendered and repented for their crimes would be offered vocational training at the rehabilitation camp. In January 2012, Abubakar Shekau issued a video message threatening to kidnap the wives of government officials in response to the government imprisonment of wives of Boko Haram leaders. Forced marriages and sexual violence perpetrated by this extremist group only garnered much attention after the abduction of 276 Chibok schoolgirls in April 2014. This led to the creation of the #BringBackOurGirls campaign. UNICEF and International Alert report that the phenomena of forced marriages started being recorded in the capital of Borno, Maiduguri, in 2012. It has been estimated that since 2012, between 500 and 2,000 women and children have been abducted. The men are often executed when an area is attacked. Diese was abducted by Boko Haram in 2013. They said, "You are going to convert to Islam by taking the oath of Kalima Shahada, and you will not go home. You will be married off since you are still young." Human Rights Watch reports that rape of abducted girls and women is underrepresented due to cultural silence, stigma, and shame in the northern regions. Women that are raped and bear children by their captives are discriminated against, as some believe that their children carry bad blood. Many fear that these women and children have been indoctrinated during their captivity, believing that children will carry the same characteristics of their fathers, and that they could become the next generation of Boko Haram fighters. Some of these victims are partly blamed for the violence that ruined their communities and are shunned. The increase of female suicide bombers has reinforced the belief that women who lived in Boko Haram captivity have adopted extremist ideology through indoctrination and are responsible for the increasing insecurity in the northeast Nigeria. The St. Teresa's refugee camp in Yola, Adamawa State, is working to end the stigma surrounding the women who have fled from the abuse of Boko Haram camps to provide them with a place to call home. Many of the women living at St. Teresa's were interviewed and shared their harrowing tales of trauma and survival. Mary John Ibrahim, a Christian woman in her early 50s, was working in the government hospital in Gwoza when Boko Haram overran the area and burned down the hospital. She managed to flee the hospital and run toward the bush, where she would then later be captured and returned and held at Gwoza for 2 weeks. During her time there, she was severely beaten and starved due to her refusal to convert to Islam. On one fateful day, she did escape camp and fled to the mountains that border Cameroon, where she was taken in by local Muslims for a month. Also during the takeover of Gwoza, 60-year-old Tani Beatrice was captured alongside 50 other women by Boko Haram. Her husband was executed by fighters, and Tani later spent a month terrorized by Boko Haram members and was forced at gunpoint to learn the Islamic teachings and beaten within an inch of her life when she informed her capturers that she was unable to read the Quran. Tani would find her salvation from the Muslim women of the Salidva tribe, who helped her and 3 other women escape while on their way to the market. April 14th, 2016, being the 2-year anniversary of the abduction of the Chibok girls, I ask you, do you believe these girls will ever be found? And in the event that they are found, who will welcome them home? Thank you. That's all the time we have today. I'm Gabrielle Harris, and thank you for watching The Break.
Growing up in Kenya, my sister and I were very close. But like any sisters, we fought a lot. She always got new clothes, and I always got hand-me-downs. Now she's putting her children through school in Kenya. We still fight sometimes, especially when I send money for the kids. I tell her, buy some clothes for the younger one, and we both laugh.
With nearly 500,000 locations, our app and online, this is moving money for better.